Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another one of our Big Brother Hometowns 15 preseason podcast, the Second Chance Stories. And today we are really excited to be talking about the runner up from Big Brother Hometowns 14, Miss Angelica. However, I cannot do this alone. And today I am excited to be joined by not one, by not two, no, two. No. Oh, I messed that up. That's okay. Not one, but two. There we go. Former finalists from the finale that joined Angelica in the final three. We got them both here. It's the winner, RT, and new production member, Rick. How are you guys doing?
Good. I'm the actual BBH 14 third placer, by the way.
No, stop. If you ask any viewer, I'm the third placer. Erica and Angelica were the final two. It's what everybody wanted, we can say.
Not this mess that's about to unfold over the next 15 minutes or so. But I'm so excited to have you both here to talk about Angelica. You guys both played the entire game with her in different capacities, and that's why I think it's fun to have you both here. Rick, you and Angelica were very close the entire game. RT, you and Angelica had like one of the most interesting game relationships, like kind of looking out for each other, but also like actively trying to like throw each other under the bus at times.
Yeah, to say I was close with anybody is a stretch that game. But Ange and I definitely had a back and forth the whole time. So
yeah, so I think this will be fun to kind of see from both perspectives, like not only Angelica the person, but Angelica the player, and ultimately the second chance that she's going to get here in Big Brother Hometowns 15. Give me some overall thoughts about what type of player Angelica is, and I'll let RT go first.
Yeah, I mean, I think Angelica is so interesting for orgs because at first glance, for anyone that's like friends with Angelica, you're like, oh my god, she would suck at these things. And I mean that in the nicest way possible, just because she tells everything exactly how it is, but does it in the way where you'll really never be mad at it. I think like she just has such a it's not, I wouldn't even say it's a finesse, but you know that what she's saying is for somehow for both of your interests, even in the slightest. And she presents it in the way where even if it's for the smallest iota of being in your interest, you're like, cool, I want to help Ange do this because you know she's looking out for both of us, or else why would she be so honest with me? Like in the same sentence, she could be like, you're being really freaking annoying to everybody right now, but also like it'd be good if we both voted out blah 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 right now. And you're like, oh yeah, for sure. I don't care if she just called me annoying, but she just got that off her chest. She just has such a brain for these games and does them very well. However she forms an army around her or not. Like I think she likes to say that she is constantly playing against the odds and like kind of on her back foot a lot of the time, but like you see time and time again that she's in the driver's seat for so much through so much of the game. So
what you think, Rick?
I agree with a lot that Ryan said. I think another thing about Ange is that as a player and as a person too, she is a softie at heart, but she comes off extremely intimidating. And it's like, I think that works so well in her favor because people come into games and if they know her, they're like, I can't be on Angelica's bad side. Like that will be bad for me. And if they don't know her, they're going to find out that it will be very bad for them to be on her bad side. So that's an extremely valuable skill and like trait, I guess, to have in games and honestly in life too, because no one's going to fuck with you. But like, and like I said, she's a softie at the end of the day. Like she is so sweet and has like the kindest heart ever. But she knows exactly what she's doing. She is so smart. And exactly what Ryan said, like she just has a way of phrasing things and presenting them to make you like go with the plan that she is obviously working for her best interest. And it could be in your best interest, it could not be, but you're still going to go with it, which is really interesting. I have a trouble doing it sometimes.
Yeah, I remember during BBH 15, it became very clear to me, like two big things, 14, but during 14, sorry, my brain is not on today. that it became very clear to me about two things about Angelica. Number one, she consistently has good reads. And I think that's like one of her biggest strengths, how good of a read she can get on people, how good of a read she can get on the house. And number two, I think she is really, really good at letting the past be the past and knowing when she needs to pivot for the future. I think those are two of her biggest strengths coming into any game that she plays, because she, like, it's like, I just think about things like when, she tells RT at Final Six, like, hey, I'm sorry, I have to put you up because, like, I'm in an alliance with all these people. And then, like, there continues to be a relationship post that, and she's able to talk to you in and out. Obviously there were things that happened, but like in and out. I'm thinking about like when she got in a fight with Lance in the house chat on day one, and then is able to repair that relationship to the point where they're not targeting each other. Like, she's good at putting the past behind her and moving forward and making people also feel good about her enough to move forward with her as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So you guys both played the entire game with her. What would you say is the story of Angelica from season 14?
I think you said it yourself. Like, she started off on probably up there of the worst foot you could start off on. Like, immediately posting public confessional, being like, I don't want to talk to these people. Like, why do I have so many damn calls on night one? And like, my ass is sitting there like, I've called like 2 people. Like, oh geez, I'm already behind. And then also causing a fight over the plague challenge round 1 with Lance. But I think like she showed her like strength so quickly, not presently, which was the best thing she could do for herself, but just formed like every connection under the sun where she didn't have to do anything and was still so heavily in everything going on. Like, obviously a lot of the votes this season were unanimous. And so it was hard for anybody to really say like, oh yeah, I did that for blah blah blah. But it says a lot when someone like Anne just so aware of the vote so quickly, and like was most definitely not interfering, but like influencing that through whatever different groups she was in. I know I shit on it in the finale in FTC, but she like, you guys killed that whole like Russian doll strategy in terms of like big group into smaller group into smaller group. And that's what works for her, and it's what she kind of needs to do because she can never be the biggest person, and or else she's gone. But like, I've watched Angelica play every game she's ever played, and even as like a close person that knows what she can do, never viewed her as a threat. And I think that just like speaks mountains about what she's able to do and what her story was for 14.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, like Anne just like did so well in BBH 14. Like, she constantly pushed her agenda to the point where I would be looking back on things like 2 rounds later and be like, should I have done that? Like, was that fine with me? And like, the overall thing was that she was riding for me and I was riding for her to an extent because I knew she was a threat. Like, see, that's the thing. Like, if you're working closely with her, obviously, like, in my experience, there was that level of, oh, she is the threat. She is the one to beat because she's doing things I'm seeing so closely that no one else is really seeing. Like, no one's seeing her pushing her agenda. Because, like, at what was it? Final 5, I wanted Danny to go, not AJ. And she, like, totally convinced me to vote out AJ. And that was the hardest vote for me to do. Was it the right move? Probably, but I wanted Danny gone so badly. So she just like, her story was that she came into BBH 14 with a good amount of connections. I think RT and I may have had the most connections, honestly, but she came in with a pretty good amount. She utilized her connections and made new connections with others and completely dominated. No one wanted to get rid of her. And when they did, it was too late. I don't even know. At a certain point, I don't think people did want to get rid of her. I think she was kind of set up well. So besides like me, I didn't succeed.
No, I think like her story of being like diminishing her threat to the point where she's sitting on the block at final 6, I think, and by all metrics should go home there over Lance, yet has good relationships and people who think that she's, with them, or that she potentially could be an easier beat at the end, that are willing to keep her around. And then it ultimately makes her path to the final two, with, by our estimation at the time, a really great shot to win. Obviously, things changed over the course of that night, and RT secured the bag there. But we were very, and this is where I guess maybe I want to segue into talking about what's coming up with her. She played a very visible game in terms of what Prod was telling people about her in the VL. Like, we were very closely following the story of Rick and Angelica for so long in the VL. Do you guys think that potentially Angelica could be in danger early here because she played such a visible game in 14, and it's so recent in the memories of some of the people who have probably known that Second Chances is coming and, have been watching?
I feel like she should. She absolutely should. I feel like she's going to weasel her way out of it. People are going to, like I said, people are going to be so scared to get rid of her. And if they do take the shot, props to them. But I think they're gone soon after. There's going to be people that are riding for her. There's going to be people that are really scared of her, but they're going to want to keep her as a shield. And how she's going to play the game, I don't necessarily know. I don't know if I think she adapts well to any circumstance that she's given. I don't know if she's going to try to play under the radar, or if she's going to try to play another visible game, but there's really no way of hiding that she's an amazing player. There's absolutely no way to do it. So either people, like, she makes those connections and she's able to, keep herself around and people keep her as a shield, or they try to take the shot at her, and I think they're going to miss and fail miserably.
Yeah, I don't know. I know, and like after we played BBH 14, Angel's like, I can never play again. Like, my game is so visible, which is why, like, when you message me, she's like, we're talking about Angel. I'm like, yeah, no shit, we are. Like, I know she's gonna get right back into it. But I feel like Erica said, in theory, she should be. She's the most recent, like, one of the top players from our season. Like you said, was going to win going into the last night. Not to keep hammering that, but I also think, like, more bad of her game is outshone by the fact that while playing such a visible game, was so extremely loyal. Like, really, maybe I'm just misremembering, or like, really didn't burn a lot of people that she was true to, up to the point where, like you said, exposed the whole 5-person alliance at Final 6 when she didn't need to. Like, when she has someone's back and she has that relationship, she's gonna give into it no matter how much she returns. Like, I know I was not giving her anything, and she was still willing to give me that heads up at 6. So I think anyone that's smart tries to latch in on that and get in on that as fast as possible with Angelica. But I also agree with Erica, where, like, there's gonna be some idiots who are just like, oh shoot, Angelica gets along with so many people so fast, she has to leave round 2. But, like, doesn't realize that Angel already had the social connections by round 2. Like, obviously there's gonna be a lot of hard hitters, social wise, and a second chance all-star best to not win, whatever the heck. I know it's second, but they're all good. But I think the fact that she is like that triple threat, like, when you're playing with big shots like this, you don't want someone that's just social. You want someone that's just social and is going to talk their ass off a little bit and get that attention off them, and she keeps sneaking through. So
yeah, and that's the thing.
Should be second boot, won't be.
Yeah, and that's the thing, where her being able to phrase things in a way that makes it seem like it's in other people's best interest. Like, she's gonna do that, and that's not necessarily, like, when you think of Ange, you think of, like, oh, threat. She is a really good player. You don't think of, she's gonna phrase things in a way that manipulates me to do things for her. Like, that's not what you're thinking. You're just gonna go along with it because everybody wants to stay around 1. Everybody wants to stay around 2. Nobody wants to be pre-jury. It's just gonna skate. She's just gonna skate.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm very curious with her. In my head, I look at this cast. I think Angelica comes in with one of the top 5 biggest targets on her back. And I think for her to be successful, she's going to have to play out in front, and she's going to have to get all those. She's going to have to identify all the threats and bring them together to work together.
Yep.
Because I think there's a list of people that if people are doing their homework, if they know BBH history, if they know org history in general, there are some people on this cast that are toast, like immediately. And I think Ange could be one of them, especially just with her season being so recent. I don't feel like there's been enough time for people to forget that she played so well. And so I think in order for us to see her do well, we're going to have to see a different Angelica, one who's a little bit more out in front, a little bit more visible. Like she's just not going to be able to hide. She's going to have to be a bit more visible. And that comes with risk, but it also could come with great reward for her. So I'm curious to see what she does.
Yeah, I think my as of right now, before the season even begins and anything even starts, I can see her maybe being a live night target. That's my prediction. But if she skates by that,
how poetic would it be for her to get the same exactly what happened to Robert?
I know. Don't manifest.
Let's not do that. So let's wrap up because we're trying to keep these, within 20 minutes. What do you guys think Angelica's second chance story will be?
I feel like it's. I don't want to say it's revenge more than, but it's far from proving herself, which I think a lot of this handful like. She has absolutely nothing to lose, which I think is fun because I think we're going to get prime Angelica. Like the fight we saw with Lands round 1 is going to be rounds 1 to 7.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be unfiltered. I think it's going to be one of just being like, okay, you saw me play safe. Now watch me do the same stuff and still be like real badass the whole time.
I agree to an extent, but I think that she's going to want to win this one so bad. Like she's going to have like a fire lit under her ass. And I think her second chance story is going to be, she is a good player. She's not coming to prove anything. She's coming back to claim the title that she thought she had. And that's like such a badass second chance story. And it's going to be interesting to see if she can pull it off, because if she goes from last season being the second placer by one vote to the winner, it would be literally iconic. And I think if anybody can do it, it's her.
Yeah. Angelica standing at the end of this season, bloody, like war torn, like as the remaining victor is such a story. Like in my head, I see it as just like what an incredible story that would be, and I would love to see it. But we'll have to see what happens.
Rooting for my baby.
Yes, we love Angelica. Rick, RT, thank you so much for joining me to talk about Angelica. Be on the lookout for more of our second chance story series. And for more stuff like the Discord, just be on the lookout for all the stuff. And the season is coming soon, so we're really excited. And we can't wait to share this journey with all of these players and with all of you. But until then,